Greetings and welcome everybody to the Jane Live Miracle Medicine on a Thursday, where we discuss practical case studies from our center in Bryanston, and we talk about nutrient-dense food, plant-based foods, quantum medicine, and the new paradigm. This evening we're going to be talking about getting to the guts of things, which is how to heal your gut and how to build a really strong microbiome. And we have a wonderful lineup regarding, the actual causes of digestive problems, absorption problems, parasites, discomfort, bloating, fermentation, etc. And also then how to actually treat gut disorders. And I'm hoping that at the end of this, you'll have some practical steps to improve your gut and build your microbiome, because at the end of the day, if we quote Hippocrates, all disease begins in the gut. And if we think about our gut as a tube from our mouth to our butt, it needs to be completely cleaned, and it needs to not have any debris in between it and nothing blocking it, because a leaky gut is a leaky brain, and most people with constipation have got a brain fog, concentration problems, etc. So at 365 Healthy by Choice, we follow prevention is better than waiting for when it's too late. And we do have a choice 365 days a year to choose health. And I'm going to give you some practical hints as to what to do. And I want to take this opportunity to welcome everybody from around the world to our awesome Thursday meetings. And I want to thank also all the practitioners that work with us and all of you clients who work with us, and welcome the new people too, so that we can all learn from each other and take our health to the next paradigm, the next dimension. And let's have a look at building our immunity, etc. And I see some of you are saying hi and everything. Hi from Bermuda and all over the world. It's just great to see you. So I'm going to kick off with some slides that I've put together for you. And for the new people, I'm going to introduce myself. I've got an MBA degree, a pharmacy degree, way back. I've been practicing for, I'm not even going to give the game away, but close to 40 years. Also got a diploma in quantum therapy. And, this really sets what we do at the 365 Healthy by Choice Center in Bryanston apart from other centers. It's because we are focused on quantum medicine, the new paradigm. And we focused on natural, nature-made, plant-based foods and nutrients, exactly as nature-made, with the innate potential there, the intelligence of the plant there, so that when the body receives nature-made nutrients, it knows exactly what to do, and the innate potential of the body to heal kicks in. So it's a very important aspect of the new paradigm in health, letting the body heal. And at our center, we have a quantum med bed with a very fancy quantum device, a NASA device, which measures 11,000 frequencies, physical, neurological, emotional, and spiritual, puts it together and gives us risk factors, and then actually with bioresonance treats the patient back. We've got the nutrient-dense plant-based range of products, very extensive. You can see on our website, the 365 Healthy by Choice shop.com. We've also got oxygen and nutrient IV drips, and one of the reasons for that is very, very poor absorption of our nutrients. I'm going to speak about that a little bit later. And also the very, very sick, the COVIDs and the cancers and stuff, and to help them to try and ward off the hospitalization. We do acupuncture, which is emotional and physical detox. We do live blood analysis, which really gives people an accurate picture of their blood, their cells, their body. And for many people, it's life-changing. You just sort of watch their face go more and more pale as they see what's in their blood. It's sometimes quite daunting, but very real and, not abstract at all. We do infrared saunas for detoxification. We have 14 micron, we have two double 14 micron infrared saunas, and the detoxification effect is unbelievable. The infrared ray is the invisible ray of the sunlight. So all natural as well. And we've also got a Life Force Cafe where we serve delicious smoothies. So I'm introducing the gut healing, the gut health. Let's get to the guts of things. And I'm also going to be speaking about our special promotion. And I think it's always good to have a bit of a promotion with the health area that you're dealing with. And it gives me pleasure to introduce the Microbiome Reset and the Cell Oxygen capsules, amongst other products. And yeah, thanks for registering. All of you who've registered will get the replay automatically. Okay, so let's get a bit serious. Talking about gut health. All disease begins with the gut, as I said earlier. So many people, and I mean, I just want to make this point right now. I can look at my phone right now. It has been absolutely chock-a-block full. My messenger on my Facebook, my Instagram, my WhatsApp groups. When I started advertising about this gut health and building the strong microbiome. Last week, for those of you who are interested, go to my YouTube channel and you will see part 1 on gut health, where we talked about the very important evolutionary aspect of the beneficial microbes in our gut in terms of evolving humanity, and was really special last week. So there's a great short video recording on the Jane Mackenzie YouTube from last week. And I do upload all the videos anyway, so you'll be able to see, you know, or I don't know, there's hundreds of videos on there on all different topics. So, yeah, very important that I think, you know, we can teach people who can teach people who can teach people. That's just a very important aspect about where we're going. So, what I was saying is that the amount of people, I mean, I can say they're still coming in. The requests are coming in. Help. I need help. The areas where people needed help, you know, let me just go there. Oh, what's happening here? Got something in the way. Oh, there you go. From all these aspects, which is really troublesome to me, because the gut is the starting point. It is the beginning of our immunity, our defense against viruses, bacteria, parasites, environmental toxins, genetically modified foods. So it's also part of our immune system that goes and helps the white blood cells, the helper cells, T cells, beta cells, NKF cells, etc., at the cell level, you know, ward off infection. So very, very important. People talked about gastric reflux. I mean, and we can spend a lot of time on this, but I mean, gastric reflux, your body's telling you, don't put this food in me. It's coming up. Don't bring it. I don't want any more heated oil. Don't keep giving me fried food. I keep telling you, and you keep giving it to me. I mean, I had this one client who used to drink while he ate in order to get the food down. Absolutely terrible. So let's start listening to our bodies. Let's become acutely aware of our bodies and what it's saying to us, because that is the truth. So gastric reflux, you know, the way we overcome this, and you're welcome to book consultations to come and see us in Bryanston, either in person or virtual. It's got to do with nutrition, and it's got to do with also the body's readiness to digest. You'll see just now, if we don't have enough oxygen, if we don't have enough enzymes, if we don't have enough hydrochloric acid in our gut, if we don't have enough probiotics, it's hard for the body to digest. And then the food just simply ferments, bloats, we get gassing, we start getting irritable bowel syndrome, we start getting hiatus hernias, we start getting hemorrhoids, constipation. So we've got to have a body that's ready to digest foods. I'm going to share that with you. Many people have talked about ulcers. So why would an ulcer develop? Okay, stress. I'll talk about stress. Huge, hugely important. it would and also will happen with a parasite, a leaky gut, the organism starting to eat the gastrointestinal tract away, and leaking into the gut. So yes, that's what's going to happen with an ulcer. Things like SIBO, parasitic infection, pathogenic infections, genetically modified food infections, irritable bowel syndrome. I mean, what is it really? These are all terms that are describing a gut that's diseased, that's not working properly, where the digestion isn't working, the absorption's not working, lots and lots of fermentation, and they all represent stages in development, which will end up, unfortunately, in something like a cancer tumor. And we really do have to listen to our body, and we really do have to follow also the blood group, because the doctors that have studied it using microscopes know what they're talking about. We get miraculous results using the blood group because it's an anti-inflammatory way of eating. So if you're reducing inflammation, you're already reducing most of these inflammatory effects in the gut and in the blood and the rest of the body. Crohn's disease, which would be, gluten intolerance and all those kind of things. Most of the allergies are emotional. The intolerances would be toxic related. So again, is it actually the food that's doing this, or is it the fact that you're too stressed to digest? And that's normally 9 times out of 10. But I am going to say that there's no getting away from the fact that emotions are poison. And I'm talking about negative emotions, negative neurological pathways, anxiety, depression, etc. Those kind of states where we're holding on to an old injury, an old negative experience that eats holes in the body, it eats holes in the gut, and causes constipation, diarrhea, and we really do have to sort out ourselves on an emotional level. But when we're eating properly, living a good lifestyle, having lots of oxygen into the body, we are able and more able to dispense with and let go with what's not serving us. It's very important to work that through. I have a client right now who's busy working through bad childhood experiences, deep emotions like rejection, abandonment, hopeless despair, especially now with, the world in the state that it's in, which is by design, by the way. And it's the way you look at it. Is your cup half full or half empty? And you'll hear more and more about this in future recordings, but also in all my past recordings. So important, emotions. In fact, I think it's all important, because I get people who can line my desk. Some of them come in. One lady came in with 3 boxes of supplements the one day. And she said to me, but I'm still unhappy and I'm still sick. So I said to her, yes, we'll stop. Because 3 different types of zinc, 3 different types of selenium, 3 different types of probiotic, whatever, none of that's going to get you off the starting block until we work out with our quantum NASA device and the quantum med bed, what the root causes are, what your risk factors are, isolate the emotion and start working through a space where we can surrender to the emotion through awareness and work out the gift that interaction, negative experience or whatever brought to us, because everything's by design. So it doesn't happen by mistake. And it's a movie. It's not about who did it or when or no. It's about what happened, what was I supposed to learn? Let me learn that and take a quantum leap to the next level, because our life is filled with trials and tribulations. And I was speaking to the one client, it depends how long you want to stay in the trial. For me, I want to learn what I'm supposed to learn. I want to become aware of it and take the golden gift. Let's, for example, say fear will shift to courage. Unhappiness or sadness will shift to joy, and I want to move into the tribulation phase and just keep going, and it will never end. So the trials and tribulations are there, I'm afraid. And, sometimes we say bring it on, because the more that we can shed the trials and shift to the tribulation phase, the sorrows, the joys and sorrow, the stronger we're going to be as humans. So let's carry on with our presentation. and the diseases. Now, as I said, so these diseases are brought about. I'll show you the causes in a moment. Hernias, hiatus hernia. It's all about stress. It's about forcing the wrong food down, eating when we're stressed, not even focusing on our food, lots of indigestion. One of my clients is telling me, yes, she forms gas in the stomach every time she eats, and once the gas is relieved, the pain's gone. And I mean, so she's living in this space, which is not healthy. It's not normal. And, is she checking the food that she's eating? Is she checking the emotional state when she's eating? Get back to being very calm and serene. And, eating is almost a festivity in itself. It's almost, it's just a beautiful occasion in the day to give gratitude. It's not about driving into the closest fast food joint and shoving stuff down while you're on your phone and your laptop and, hoping for the best, making the tummy feel full and moving on. It's not about that. We've really lost sight of our fuel. You wouldn't do it to your car, so why are you doing it to yourself is what I always say, Diarrhea, constipation. So diarrhea is often, again, the body's response to getting rid of toxins very quickly that are bothering the body and shouldn't be in the body. Constipation is worse because that's when you really get fermentation, bloating, worms, parasites, leading to leaky gut, where they bore their way through the intestinal wall and into the blood and eventually to the brain and all the cells. So, very important that we have enough fiber and roughage in our diet and not eating the processed, refined food. And then infections, which I've just spoken about. People will come in and say to me, oh, Jane, I have H. pylori. I have Clostridium. There's no ways you only have one because things get co-hosted. So the aggressive forms of bacteria, fungi, yeasts, parasites all live in little biofilms. They feed off each other. They protect each other. And there's never one. You're always co-hosting a whole lot. So we have to wipe them all out. And I'm going to show you how. Beautiful. Let's see how we go now. And then just to end off here, the hemorrhoids, that's from, often from constipation, and, it leads to bleeding, discomfort, pain. There's our leaky gut, absolutely terrible. We see it under the microscope. We see it with our quantum med bed device, and people feel it. And then, ending up, with, a tumorous situation where the body just gives up and it starts degenerate. The cells start degenerating and the life force leaves. So everything about 365, Healthy by Choice, what we do at the Bryanston Center and globally in the virtual space is about raising life force, chi, prana. That is what we live off. It's what we feed off. It's what our body needs and wants. That's what helps us think clearly, make decisions, move to the tribulation, out of the trial, and be centered and in our quantum space as humans. And so everything has got to be geared towards energy and the electron spin. The tighter the electron spin, the closer the electrons are to the proton and the neutron, the higher the life force. You'll remember this from science at school, wherever. The tighter the electron spin, the higher the life force. It's bottom line physics, scientific physics. Okay, so we're aiming on that and getting to that point. Welcome, everyone. All right, so let me go back to the slides. And what I'd really like you to do is I've invited you to jot down in the chat what's bothering you about your gut, what's bothering you about how to take the cell oxygen capsules, how to take the cell vitality oxygen drops, the DMSO drops, the replica RNA, how to take the products, what they do. If you've forgotten about it, come in and write it on the chat there. I'm here. I'll answer you straight away. All right. Now let's look at gut health in itself. Let's get to the guts of things. I really enjoy that, by the way. Many things here are responsible for an unhealthy gut, for a sick gut, a distressed gut, disordered gut. Stress, I think, and emotions are by far the number one, which lead to toxins because of ineffective digestion, ineffective absorption. And then we just attract lots and lots of parasites to live. Lots of the parasites would come in also via the air, the water, food, and then most importantly, lifestyle, because if we're sitting cramped over, we're blocking the stomach, the diaphragm for breathing, as well as the transverse colon. And so the food gets trapped and the system just can't keep, moving properly. So I thought that was quite a good picture. And I've got some more good pictures here because I think we can all relate to this. So stress is a very big problem because it affects our nervous system. And the nervous system affects the hormonal system, which then affects a whole cascade of things, including digestion and absorption and secretion of enzymes and hormones for digestion in the gut. So we, again, need to come to terms with our stress and work out if it's serving us or not. Same as one of those emotional disorders. Is it serving us or not? Are we in the right job? Are we with the right people? Are we in the right environment to live? Are we feeding off whatever we are? Is it giving us energy? Is it giving us electrons? Are the electrons tightly bound wherever we are and who we're mixing with and so on? Because otherwise, there's going to be a straight drain of your electrons, a weakening. The adrenals get fatigued, chronic fatigue it's called, and then the body's battery winds down. When you've got a flat battery, we all know what happens. When the cell phone battery is flat, not able to do anything, it closes. Finished. So same with us. Let's charge the battery so that the body can work, so that the nervous system is whole and balanced and not stressed. We don't have adrenaline and cortisol circulating, which are very acidic, by the way, very inflammatory, damaging to cells on a 24/7 basis. Let's make sure that an adequate amount of hormones are being released, that the liver's clean, the blood's clean, that the brain is clean, the hypothalamus, pineal, pituitary is clean, and that the whole hormone cascade can happen. So that's where we get the proper digestion and absorption, and where we can really, shift the cell vitality, because all of this is about the vitality of the cell. We need to work with the cell, every cell of the body, all the billions, trillions of the cells of the body. Okay, so stress, I think I've talked about that. Focusing on the food. So with gratitude and so on, I mean, the food comes from the earth, from the sun, from water, from air, with the photosynthesis, where within plants that's encapsulated photons, sun energy, photons. Actually, the highest life force comes from the sun, the photons from the sun. So when we walk into the sun, we need sun because the body will receive, the blood will receive the photons from the sun. We will actually photosynthesize ourselves. We can do that. But then we're talking about plants. It's also trapped sunlight. And we need to focus on what the earth and the plants are giving us with gratitude. We need to be present. We need to chew the food, preferably even touch the food, but we need to, begins with the mouth, with the eyes actually, the mouth, the teeth. Are we chewing 21 times? Is the saliva coming out? Are we starting to digest the starch in the mouth? Or is it swallowed before it can even touch sides, So these are very important. Digestion starts with the eyes and then in the mouth. And then, as I said to you, the enzymes, the hydrochloric acid, and all needs to be secreted from the brain. And do we have enough probiotics, also the beneficial bacteria, fungi, and yeasts, to also help break down the food, but also to start synthesizing vitamins, minerals, neurotransmitters, serotonin, dopamine, etc. So very important that digestion will occur. We need to be in a non-stress situation for this. Many children get a very sore tummy after they've eaten because it was stressful when they ate, and the food makes their tummy sore. Absorption. Now, this is a very important point, because we do baseline assessments on virtually every patient that comes in. Why? Because we don't want to guess. We want to get a quantum measurement, accurate measurement, validated, verified, where we can see at a glance what the risk factors are and the root causes of disease. Now, if you're not absorbing, you've got a very big problem, because it's like a car that's not getting the petrol coming through. You will have very low minerals, very low vitamins, low protein levels, which will be low hormones, low enzymes, low neurotransmitters. You'll have a low amount of essential fatty acids in your body. You will have low amount of antioxidants and all the nutrients that the body needs. So with that this lining, this gastrointestinal tract needs to be sparkly, squeaky clean. You wouldn't have bits of debris on your skin. So you don't want bits of debris and blockages in your gut at all, right? So very important that this is a completely clean tube, so that the food can pass through in the normal space of time, that our lifestyle, we're not sitting too much, we're not hunched over, etc. We're upright, that we're thinking clearly, so that proper absorption can take place. If we're living on a diet of refined foods, heated oils, we're going to have plaque on the inside of this tube. The villi are going to be stuck and dirty. They're going to be parasites. And we then going to have to do a complete gut cleanse and remove all the debris, which means going to the toilet, because there's only one way of getting these things out. So we would then encourage the gut, would sterilize the gut with our oxygen and our herbal parasite cleansers, and then start rebuilding with the microbiome reset, the beneficial bacteria, fungi, and yeasts. Okay, so absorption, I'm finding, is almost a number one given. And I think this is why also our drip clinic that we set up is mainly for chronic disease people. But you know what? If you're not absorbing your food, you're going to end up with a chronic disease. So we do have the vitamin C, glutathione, 13 minerals vitamin drip for people, just in the beginning, no more than 4, to get at least the nutrients in. While we're busy cleaning and getting everything going, because that then also helps them, the minerals help charge the body. So we take, also very careful consideration of iron levels, copper levels, silver levels, gold levels, cobalt, nickel, osmium, palladium, etc. We platinum, precious metal minerals, because those are the minerals which charge our body. Without charge, we can't digest, we can't absorb. Finished. Okay, so minerals are the beginning of it all. Okay. So there's a question there about colon irrigation. Well, you know what? I'm going to say that if you blocked, it can help physically remove debris. Okay, yes, it can do that. You do need to be relaxed, of course. There can be damage, which I think is a problem. And, I wouldn't recommend more than 4 or 5 a year if you are going to do that. We like to clean from the top down. But if we've got an unbelievably chronic situation, it can help on a physical level. Yes, it can. But with the products we have, we don't need to send people for colonic irrigation, because we will blast out whatever's in the way. Thanks for that question. Okay, so now where we're at, types of food eaten. We've talked about the processed foods and what they form plaque, sclerosis in the gut, and stiffening of the gut, and we don't get peristalsis happening. So digestion, absorption, peristalsis are very important. So for digestion to happen, for optimum blood sugar levels, for blood pressure levels, for hormone levels, we have to have oxygen. Oxygen is king, and we make sure that happens with our methods in restoring and realigning health, but of course breathing and exercise will do that. We've got to eliminate the fermentation and bloating, which the oxygen will do. So will lifestyle, so will exercise, And the leaky gut starts happening when the food's fermenting. So we need to get the peristaltic motion moving. The gut must also, the stomach needs to form chyme, and that will then move through the small intestine. We don't want big, large particles because they'll enter into the blood and cause huge infection in the blood, thick blood, slow blood, low oxygen in the blood. And we want to heal the leaky gut. And I'm going to show you some of the products that we use to do that. And we remember we're validating everything we're doing before and afterwards. Get rid of the disgusting, horrible worms and parasites. I was going to show you some pictures, but I thought, you know what? I'm not going to do that tonight. I'm not going to show you how ghastly a tapeworm looks and how ghastly ascites looks. And then ascites is a long pink worm about this big, just horrendous. Looks like a big, massive elastic band. Tapeworms look horrendous too. The flukes look even worse. And the flukes, by the way, swim around. They go to the pancreas. They go to the liver. They go to the lungs. So I thought I'd spare you that, which I think you'll be happy about. Okay. And then let's see here as well. Okay, genetically modified foods. This is an important one because, you know, what is a genetically modified food? Do you all know? So what happens is in the laboratory, they would take a gene from, let's say, for example, a strawberry, and they would splice it into the tomato to increase the shelf life. They would take, let's say, corn, and they would insert a pesticide-producing bacteria or fungus or yeast into the corn, so that when the maize grows or the corn grows, at 3 weeks it starts producing pesticides, so the pesticides don't come near. Now, what happens when we eat these foreign genetically modified organisms is we start producing a pesticide factory inside our gut forever. It doesn't go, and we start producing pesticides inside us. Or in the case of the tomato with the strawberry gene, that gene is also altered now, and that gene is also random. So these genes start interfering with our normal human genetic code and causing destruction and disease. So what are the main genetically modified foods? You know, definitely maize, corn, definitely soya, definitely cotton. And then other foods have been hybridized, which again then shifts them out of the totally nature-made space. So we must work with nature-made. Those of you that are into biodynamic gardens and growing your veggies and everything, always get heirloom seeds, organic heirloom seeds, because then you know the genetic structure of the food is going to feed you and not cause disease. So genetically modified food is a very big problem. All right. And then to read the labels, because all of these things cause big problems and big holes in the gut. Additives, colorants, preservatives, all the E's. Stabilizers, modified starch, well, that will be genetically modified, okay? Artificial sweeteners and so on. And they all cause toxicity in the body, other environmental toxins and chemicals, you know, bleach. We will consume it in the food. Medicines, antibiotics are all going to cause gut problems. So we need to start, you must be making notes now. We need to start, you know, removing these off from our list of foods. Now, let's have a look at the gut-brain connection. And you can see the small intestine there in the brain. It actually looks the same. You've got these massive amounts of tubes. It's exactly the same. And as I said before, what's going on in the gut physically is going on in the brain too. So a blocked gut will mean a blocked, a brain that has memory loss, that's you're getting headaches, a brain that's constipated basically. And, you know, as I said, when the organisms bore their way through this intestine into the bloodstream, straight up to the brain and all the rest of the cells as well. So a leaky gut represents a leaky brain. And that's just not healthy at all, because then you've got random organisms, toxins, parasites entering straight through the blood-brain barrier into the brain, and causing all sorts of diseases. I just wanted to show you that. And then, I've crossed out the second brain now, because we talk about the gut as the second brain. The Chinese call it the first brain, by the way, because this is where we make wise, informed, unemotional, authentic, and intelligent decisions. Now, if we're blocked and we don't have good focus, good concentration, we don't have clarity in the gastrointestinal tract, imagine we're making poor decisions. We're not making the most intelligent decisions as we could be. And then we end up making mistakes and things as well. So very, very important, a clear gut, a clear brain, clear decision making. But when we're making the decisions from the gut is when we're working in a non-emotional space. And decisions should never be made with the top brain, the mind, because that's emotional and it's random. We must work with the gut brain. So just again, the importance of a clean alimentary tract, gastrointestinal tract. And then we can think clearly and live productively 365 days a year. And that is our quest for people. So they're very important, these words. What we eat affects how we think and what we do. So if you're eating junk, you're going to think junk thoughts and you're going to do junky things. You're just not going to live your purpose and be absolutely productive in every single day. You're not going to make the most of every day. So where are our solutions to all of this? Our solutions lie in fresh, natural, whole foods. We all know the fact about farming and monocrop farming and repeat farming. In other words, cauliflower year after year after year after year in the same soil, soil depletion, unbalanced food, mineral deficient foods, all lead to disease. Every single disease can be linked to a minerals deficiency or heavy metal overload from the pesticides and fertilizers and so on. So we do know that. So we need to get ahead of all of this. And I said earlier as well, those of you who can grow your own foods or use a land from somewhere else, you only need an 8x8 veggie patch, to grow some nice spinach and carrots and some berries and some peas and beans and so on. You don't need a huge amount, but the nutritional value is it far exceeds what you're going to buy in the shop right now. And I forget the study, but they looked at eating an apple. If you ate an apple in, it was 80 or something, you would have to eat 25 apples by 1990. And now in 2020, you probably have to eat a box of apples to get the same nutritional content as you got, in 1980. So that's a real fact. So whilst we go and we do our best and we get as much whole food as we can, as much organic as we can, and organic is not expensive, because if you took one organic carrot, you would need about 5 or 10 commercially grown carrots to equal the nutritional content. But more than that, the water structured, and structured water is in a quantum spin, and the body can receive the nutrient immediately. If it's commercially grown, the water's not structured, lots of toxins, the body has to clear the toxins, redefine the quantum spin in the water of the food, and then it can only use it, which takes energy. So just to move on a little bit, let's talk now about what I think you all came in to listen to, is how we're going to heal this gut and build a microbiome. So very important that we do eat when we at peace and calm. As I said before, because then the digestive enzymes, the hydrochloric acid can get secreted. Our body is like a computer. It senses from our eyes to our mouth. It's sensing what we need. And according to that, we'll secrete what we need. If we eat too quickly, it doesn't have a chance to do that. If you eat too quickly, you overeat as well. You don't chew enough. So we must go for the nutritious whole foods. Whole food smoothies, way better than juicing, because it's got the cell wall intact, and the cell wall will rebuild our gut. It will rebuild the organs, the liver, the kidney, the heart, the brain. Fruits are important because of enzymes, in particular pineapple, papaya. You need to look at your blood group. And so fruits have got way more enzymes than raw veggies. They still do have, but remember, when you heat food, the enzymes die. So you're eating dead food, and your body's got to use its small reserve of enzymes to go there and help digest. So that's why I like the Microbiome Reset from 365 Healthy by Choice, because it has naturally occurring enzymes in there. Enzymes to help oxygen transfer, enzymes to help water transfer, in addition to digestive enzymes. So all mucous membranes, the gut, the lungs, the reproductive system, all need oil. Flaxseed oil has got the highest life force, the highest, tightest electron spin of all the oils. So as pure as any other oil might be, it's never going to meet or match flaxseed oil. So that's just a given. So that's why we get ours. It's pressed and bottled in 1 month, sent to us in a cardboard box. It hasn't been near any electromagnetic field. It hasn't been on any warehouse floor. Straight to us, intact, pure life force. So the gastrointestinal tract needs oil. You need oil for flow. You need oil to lubricate the villi. And in addition, all the antioxidants that are there too. So can't say enough about the importance of oil. We'll talk about castor oil another time, a little bit later, but I'll come to that. So what is a prebiotic? A prebiotic is what a probiotic lives on. So prebiotic in many instances are grains, raw milk, raw kefir, artichoke, celery, the very cellulosey veggies. Now, we've got a moving gut, so we need to constantly eat prebiotics so that the probiotics can keep building their colonies. So you would take the Microbiome Reset, you would take a sauerkraut, a kimchi, a miso, a tofu, an idli, and all containing microbes, but they need to grow their colony. So you need the prebiotic for that. Banana also, it's a prebiotic. All right. So you can buy the things, but you can eat them much better because they're in nature-made form. So probiotics, you can get the live fermented one, which is fermented in the normal microbial cloud in which we live in, the plants, the animals as well. You can get some that are in cold storage. The maximum you will get in cold storage is 12. If you're lucky, you'll get 2. And this is an important point as well for those of you on the button. Most people talk about colony forming units, CFUs. How many CFUs? They have to, because it needs to be billions and billions and trillions because of the die-off. So if the cold chain is broken, the microbes die. And if you haven't taken the product from the shelf, the fridge, half an hour before you eat, you haven't multiplied yet. So everything's just moving through you. But now if you consider the fermented natural microbiome reset, essential microorganisms, they're alive and ready. You definitely don't put them in the fridge. They'll die. So it doesn't matter when you take them, put them in your water, put them on your food, put them in your smoothie after you've made the smoothie, fold them in. They look unbelievable under the microscope. They're little electrons with lights spinning across the slide. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And imagine this is going on under the soil, in our bodies, in the electron microbial cloud around me, around the peach, around the carrot. So we have to have a lot of reverence for this. And I really urge you to go and listen to last week's gut health talk on the Jane Mackenzie YouTube, because you'll be very, very informed there about the role of microbes in human evolution. So you can see where my passions are. All right. So then again, exercise so important because it gets the blood moving, oxygen to the cells, the waste removed, and it helps our posture, breathing. I talked a lot about oxygen. I talked a lot about hydration. So again, I mean, we need water to pass through our gut to help digestion, to help movement of food. I mean, some people hardly ever drink. How are you ever going to get oxygen and food to the cell and the waste out? We need to do very strong detoxification, which I'll speak to you about now, because the avalanche of toxins coming at the human body is way in excess of what the liver and the normal detoxification processes, the kidneys and the lungs and the skin and so on, can cope with. So we've got to help. And then obviously sunshine is important. So these are all, these bottom ones are lifestyle. If we're sitting sedentary inside all day, we're going to build up toxins and, cramp the digestive process. So let's have a look at how some of these products that we put together in our toolkit at 365 Healthy by Choice help. And I'll talk about the first two because they're on special right now. And so there's a big saving, which I think you've all seen. And I've done that on purpose so that, people can, experiment and see how valuable these products are. So I've got some pictures, which I'll show you a little bit later. But the probiotic has got over 80 live strains, not colony forming units. I told you the maximum you can get is 12. This is over 80. It's actually up to 120 live strains and substrains. So every human has their own microbial thumbprint, if you like. And we need to make sure that we've got all the strains and the substrains that can morph into the different microbial, bacterial, yeast, beneficial forms to set us right. And these microbes are super intelligent. They will imprint on our DNA, as we talked last week, because we're 90% microbial, and also our genetic structure is 99% microbial. So they are absolutely critical. So by consuming the Microbiome Reset, we're getting live probiotic plus live enzymes. All right, and that's just extremely, extremely important. In fact, you could heal just about taking just the probiotic a couple of times a day. And they scavenge heavy metals as well. And as I said, they boost your immunity because they go with the white blood cells, beta cells, T cells, NKF cells to the site where the infection is. They will morph into the aggressive form, the opportunistic form, immediately for us to go and fight off infection. And then they will revert back to the normal, harmonious, friendly form. Critical. The cell oxygen capsules are great because it's magnesium and oxygen. And magnesium is always critical because we relax with magnesium. And if we relax, the gut's peristaltic movement can happen, absorption can happen. So magnesium is always important as a secondary benefit. The oxygen will then, by osmosis, go through the lining and into the blood and straight to the cells. The cells have to be vital in order to take the oxygen in, of course. We've got a gut cleanse and restore, which is herbal. The main herb there is Cascara sagrada, which gently cleans the intestinal tract, doesn't cause huge cramping or anything like that. And together with the other products will potentiate the effect. So very important there to clean, restore the gut, and to also, kill many of the pathogens and parasites. This is all on the 365 Healthy by Choice shop.com. I'm going to show you pictures in a moment. We're going to look at the Almost Gold Rejuvenating Elixir. We're going to talk about the Cell Vitality Drops, the DMSO drops, dimethyl sulfoxide, the replica RNA DNA, which cleans the villi and repairs all the gut lining and the brain. The stem cells, which are then called to morph into cells of the gut lining to heal. The flaxseed oil we talked about. The castor oil, we do use castor oil. We've got a beautiful yellow one, organic one, and we will take 2 tablespoons before bed 3 nights in a row to literally sterilize. The worms, the parasites, they hate it. They can't stand the oil. So it might bring back childhood memories, but this is why the mothers did give it to their children. And the gallbladder flush, and that's quite an important point. I just want to make this point because if the gallbladder is blocked and the bile acids are not coming out, the gut is stagnant, it doesn't move. You need bile acid to encourage the peristaltic movement. It's every single time, not maybe. So when I see the gut stuck, my next slide is the liver, and I see exactly the gallbladder is blocked and the liver is blocked. So we unblock the gallbladder, we cleanse the liver, and suddenly the digestion and the peristaltic movement start happening. So the gallbladder flush is very inexpensive, and it really does the job for us to get the gut healthy, believe it or not. And so let's go and have a look at some of the actual physical products. This is the one that's on special, this combo. The cell oxygen, there's 60 in there. I would have 1 a day. And if it's not doing what you need it to do, have 2 a day. Have that at lunchtime and have the probiotic in the morning and in the evening. 1 teaspoon to 1 tablespoon, depending on the chronic situation. All right. And the more oxygen you take, the more loose the gut will be. So here's our very special combo in dollars and actually rands. And there's our very special link, which I did put in the chat. So I think you've all seen that now. And OG2, it's available for a week. And I chose those two because they're effective. Now, if you think about adding a flaxseed oil, if you think about adding a gut cleanse or one of these other products, a stem cell or replica RNA, this is how we fix the leaky gut, replica RNA DNA. This is basically CoQ10A, G, C, and T, not only CoQ10A. It's all of them. It's all 4 of the nuclear proteins. Just so you know, you don't get it in any other form. Everyone's selling CoQ10A. We've got A, G, C, and T. All of them, all the nuclear proteins, building blocks. So not only neurotransmitters, but the cell human genome code, and then the repair of the gut, the lungs, the brain. The stem cells will morph into adult stem cells and get called by the body. These are another cell oxygen option, which are our drops, which the one activates the other and literally streamlines, kills, removes anything that's not a human cell or a good bacteria or something that's beneficial to the body. It leaves the beneficial things alone. It only targets the wrongly charged toxins, debris in the body. Cleans degenerative tissue together with the DMSO, which is plant sap. So at the paper mill, when the logs arrive, they milk the bark, and the tree sap that comes out, literally organic tree sap, is the DMSO, dimethyl sulfoxide. So dimethyl sulfoxide is more powerful than MSM. The cell vitality oxygen is more powerful than the cell oxygen capsules. All right, they're just working on another level. And then here is our flaxseed oil. As I spoke to you about, very tight electron spin, lots of life force. All of this detoxification, all of these products are bringing about life force in the body, because understand, as you remove the things that are draining your battery, the battery can charge, the immunity can charge, the life force can charge, the genetic structure can restore. Here is our almost gold, which is an unbelievable rejuvenating elixir, which is gold, silver, copper, nickel, cobalt, iridium, palladium, all the conductive metals I spoke about. These charge the adrenals, they charge the body, they charge the cell, so that the light can come on. So light needs copper wire and so on to come on, so does our body. So the almost gold gives us, it's basically a battery pack. And there's our gut cleanse and restore with herbs to clean and herbs to kill bacteria and parasites. The capsules are very big, and you only need a month, and your gut will be clean and you will be happy. Here's our dear old castor oil. Okay, so just in closing regarding the slides, what 365 Healthy by Choice is bringing leading edge quantum nutrition to people, allowing people to think clearly, live productively 365 days a year. And we really do focus on prevention being better than waiting for when it's too late. So, you know, that's my bundle insofar as gut cleanse is concerned. The phone is carried on. There are more people crying out for help. So this recording, I think you should just send out, because people need to know how to naturally restore the microbiome, the functioning of the gut. It's the engine room. It's the beginning of our immunity, or most of the immunity starts here. The neurotransmitters are formed in the gut, the serotonin, the dopamine, the GABA, the PEA. If you're sitting with an amoeba, you're going to have flat. You're going to be flat. You're going to be an unhappy person, because the amoeba is very happy. They eat all our good neurotransmitters. We rather want the amoeba gone, thanks to the oxygen and the microbiome reset and the serotonin reaching our brain. You see, the GABA reaching our brain. So important that all of that fits together. And we're building a strong human. We want to dispense with the processed food, dispense with the heated oil, dispense with too much animal protein, heated protein, because it's too much for the human body to digest. We are evolving as humans, and I think we've had the meat era. and we need to eat slightly less and move more towards plant-based. It's called eating clean, right? Eating clean. And so that we can get more energy and more life force, which is going to take us into the new paradigm. And serve us better. So those thick Sunday lunches with potato and meat, all acidic, need to be sort of reassessed, I think, really, and bring in the wholesome natural foods, bring in the high life force foods, the medicinal mushrooms, the algae mixes, the blue-green algae, Chlorella spirulina, the pollens, the raw jellies, the organic sprouts and seeds, the organic fruits and nuts. Which contain a huge amount of amino acids, readily bioavailable in the natural quantum spin, is what I'm really saying. So let's get away from the dead old kind of food and more the colorful, vibrant food that feeds the eyes and feeds all the organs of the body. And that's what we have at 365 Healthy by Choice. We haven't even talked about the nutrients, the stress defense shield, the mushroom mix, the algae mix, the bee mix, adaptogen mix, the brain fuel. The stem cells was one of our nutrients. We got to bring those nutrients in, but once we've cleaned, because otherwise what happens is you consume all those nutrients and, well, in your case, maybe vitamins and minerals and so on, and they're basically passing through. They're not even getting absorbed. And if they do get absorbed, they're bypassing the cell because the cell's not receptive to them. By the way, they did a study on women, mature women sort of over 50 that took nutritional supplements, and a group of women who didn't, of the same age. And, guess what? The women who never took the supplements lived longer than the women that were taking the supplements. Most of the supplements are synthetic, man-made, manufactured, guessed. You need so much vitamin B, so much vitamin C, so much vitamin E. No, we're not all the same. We're all our own individual computers, and we're doing different things, and we're needing different amounts. That's why if you take foods in the nature-made space, plant-based, exactly as they should be, the body can take what it wants when it wants and leave the rest. And you won't get buildup, you won't get toxicity, and you will maintain your energy levels. You don't have to be a brain surgeon to be healthy. You just got to listen carefully to what I'm saying and follow. I think the best thing about what we do is the baseline health assessment. Get the risk factors out, get the root causes out, and then we are able to realign both with products, natural nutrients, detoxification, as I've talked about, and then also the quantum machine, the quantum device software. So any questions that have arisen out of what I've talked about, that wasn't clear that you want me to add onto? Because, I'm just thanking you for your time. It's been amazing. It's been an hour. So I'm happy to close now. You're all on the groups. So there's also Facebook Messenger. You can get hold of me all over. I think I'll put my phone number in the chat as well, so that you can get hold of me if you need to. There we go. And then we've also seen, you've also got the shop, and you've also got the link to the special combo. So with that, I'm going to close. It's been an absolute honor and privilege and special to be with you as usual. And I'm only as good as you. You're only as good as me. And we're all walking the path. So thank you very much for your time, and all the best with your health.